Why do people want to work with us? Why do people want to work with Carolina Retirement Planners versus somebody else? What is it we do differently? Well, first, it centers around you. In retirement, most people come into it with two different things. They come in with hopes and dreams, things they like to do. It might be, travel the world. It might be spoil the grandchildren, or just go to the beach, putter in the garden or the shop every day. You also come into it with certain assets, IRAs, 401ks, pensions, Social Security, real estate, and you got to get the two working together. If you're to have your best retirement, your dreams and your assets have to work together. And there are 5 areas that you have to make decisions on if you're going to get your best retirement. So let's take a look at those. Area number 1 is investments. And this is, what stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever, should I invest in to have the money I'll need in retirement? Area number 2, and I think it's perhaps even more important than area number 1, is income planning. Where is my money going to come from for the next 30 plus years? When you're retired, you've been laid off now for the next 30, 40 years. Where is the money going to come from? And it's not, it's things like when and how do I start my Social Security? And if I have a pension, how do I take my pension? And it answers 2 questions too. One of those questions is, will I have enough money to make it to the end? Based on what I want to spend, will I run out of money? Or the flip side of that question is, could I actually spend more in retirement, particularly in those early go-go years, and still know I won't run out? And also, if you think about it, the income plan should drive the investments. And if you're in or close to retirement and you've got investments but no income plan, there may be something wrong there. Number 3. And number 3 is even more important now, given 2020 and 2021, and that is tax planning. We, with the pandemic, have put a whole bunch more money, trillions of dollars more money, on our country's credit card. And we're going to have to pay that money back into the future. Right now, we're more in debt than we were even at the end of World War II. And, an awful lot of the country's wealth is in IRAs and 401ks and retirement plans. And so you need to have a strategy to minimize the tax on that. And I'm not talking about a strategy how to save money on last year's taxes, even this year's taxes. I'm saying looking out 10, 20, 30 years in the future, what can you do to reduce that tax burden on yourself, your spouse, and even your kids and grandkids when they get the money? In fact, if you think about it, wouldn't it maybe even easier to save more money on taxes than it is to try to earn a little more money on the investments? And oh yeah, by the way, don't you think the investments should also be driven by what your tax plan is? So that's number 3. Number 4. I used to call number 4 legacy. And I've now started calling it family. Because, when you pass away, one, you want to make sure if you're married that your spouse is taken care of and has enough money to go forward. But when you're both gone, even if your goal in retirement was to have the undertaker's check bounce, any money that was left over, you probably want to have go to your kids, your grandkids, or even a charity, but probably not to the IRS. And certainly not to a bunch of lawyers and legal fees. So setting up the wills and the trust and integrating that with the rest of it is also important. And finally, number 5. Number 5 is healthcare. You know, the good news is we're all living longer. The bad news is, you know, they're often spending a lot of money getting us to live that much longer. And you want to be sure if something happens to one of you that you need long-term care, it doesn't eat up all the investments so that the other spouse is left destitute. So there's a whole world of health care there too. These 5 things all work together and have to be integrated into a plan. Now, there are 3 levels of planning you can go to get to if you're moving into retirement. It might be that you know how to do all this yourself. This is you've got this all worked out yourself. You can go to what you might call a product provider. These are the Fidelities, the Schwabs, the E-Trades of the world, and you can buy the products you need to make this happen. You are essentially being self-directed. So you're doing it yourself, and you can get the things at the lowest price. Now, maybe you need a little help and are willing to spend a little more money. You can go to what we might call investment advisors or wealth managers. And what they're going to do is they're primarily going to look at the investment side of things. And they're going to, usually sit down, give you some tests and get to understand the amount of risk you want to take and your risk profile, your risk tolerance, and then they're gonna put you generally into a model or a template based on the risk you want. And for some people that may be enough, particularly folks that are younger, but they're generally not helping with the rest of this. They're focused on the investment part. Now, the 3rd level is the holistic planner. And what the holistic planner does is they say, we're going to integrate all 5 of these. We're going to put these all together, and we're going to build a customized plan for you. We're going to work and plan and have the tools to put this all together to help you get your best retirement. That's what we do. And that's people come to us because we help them with that whole big picture rather than just smaller portions of it. So I hope this helps you understand a little more what we do, and we'll talk to you later.